Over 400,000 teachers to benefit from a new 9.5% pay increase backdated to July this year in deal signed between the Teacher Service Commission and 3 unions.
President William Ruto to chair cabinet meeting at the Kakamega State Lodge this morning as he continues his 5-day tour of the Western Kenyan region.
And across the borders, FIFA suspends Spanish Football Federation President Luis Rubiales for kissing female player on the mouth after a World Cup win, even as his mother goes on hunger strike to defend her son.
Well, it's interesting the kind of headlines coming from Spain, even as we discuss constitutional or possible constitutional change in Kenya and the incessant power outages and delays in passport printing. In Spain, the main discussion is about whether or not the Football Federation president should have kissed the player on the mouth or otherwise. Very interesting. His mother has actually locked herself in a church and has gone on hunger strike defending her son. That's a big headline in Spain.
Right.
Well, good morning. How hot is the coffee where you are? My name is Freddy Ndimuli. This is a Morning Cafe.
Well, and on the other side, we will be having that conversation concerning sexually transmitted infections as well as the rising cases of infertility. What are some of the causes and what can be done to reduce it in this era, since the number has been on the high the recent few months? My name is Flora Limuki and welcome to Morning Cafe.
I'm yours truly, Stanley Nyarungita. Most definitely, we'll be getting the whole statistics on this particular conversation with Dr. Maureen Owiti, who's the head of reproductive health at the Kenya National Hospital. And but then my quote this morning, or rather proverb, is if you do not have patience, you can't make beer. If you don't have patience, you can't make beer. I'm yours truly, Stanley Nyarungita. Good morning, Kenya.
To the top story now, the Immigration Department has introduced a raft of new measures to improve the processing of Kenyan passports. Acting Director General of Immigration Services, Evelyn Cheluget, says that beginning this week, staff members will be increased and some officers will be deployed abroad. Cheluget further says counters will also be set aside for emergency cases. Day and night shifts shall be introduced from Monday to Sunday, and applications will now be received from 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Other remedies include acquiring new booklets, repairing and purchasing new machines that will allow for 24/7 passport printing. Cheluget says the changes will bolster the processing and issuance of travel documents and effectively address the long-standing delays that have sparked agitation from the public. And that leads us to our question this morning. We ask, is the government doing enough to remedy incessant delays in printing of passports? With all these changes, is the government doing enough to remedy incessant delays in printing of passports? You can share your details or your comments on this question at TV47 News on X and on Facebook, TV47 Kenya. Let's now get the day's diary before we take a look at the dailies.
Right, in today's diary, President William Ruto has a whole packed day for him in both counties, Kakamega and also Vihiga. Today, top at around 8 a.m., he'll be holding a cabinet meeting, rather chairing a cabinet meeting at the Kakamega State Lodge. And later on in the day, he will launch a number of projects, including the Emuhaya Sub-County Hospital in Vihiga County. The head of state is expected to be accompanied by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, among other area leaders. From that into matters business, today is rather expect to see the launch of the Financial Reporting Awards, commonly known as FIRE Awards, will be launched today, and do expect to see the Nairobi Securities Exchange CEO Geoffrey Odundo and ISPAC CEO Dr. Grace Kamau, among others, grace this event. Now to matters affordable housing scheme and the whole queries on this. This is an event that definitely expecting to see in the Parliament buildings. The National Assembly Departmental Committee on Housing is scheduled to have a meeting with the Permanent Secretary Housing and Permanent Secretary Public Works. The whole agenda is to respond to queries on inspection of various housing projects. This was a meeting that was scheduled for yesterday, Monday, and also today. Today also will mark the second day of the 2023 KDF recruitment exercise after its launch yesterday by the Vice CDF Lieutenant General Jonah Mwangi yesterday. Today also, we expect to see Cabinet Secretary of Defense Eden Duale to hold talks with his Indian counterpart, Raksha Mantri Shri Raghunath, today. He had traveled to India yesterday, and Duale will tour shipyards and also defense industries in Goa, that is in India. And from that, now to back in Kenya, in County 001, that is in Mombasa County, we expect to see the Maisha Conference. This Maisha Conference is being held, rather organized by the National Syndemic Diseases Control Council, that is NSDCC. The whole aim of this conference is to sensitize on the whole need to end AIDS by 2030. Right, and actually the fact that this conversation is happening and is expected to be happening in Mombasa County today, we'll also be talking about matters the sexually transmitted infections this morning, just to get to know how that is all about. Now to matters today in history. Back in 2005, Hurricane Katrina made landfall on the Gulf Coast of the United States. And back then, in 1991, a day like today, the Soviet Communist Party suspended all activities, effectively ending its 74-year rule in the Soviet Union. That is all for the diary and today in history. Now to the dailies.
Straight to the newspapers. Today we kick off with The Standard, and The Standard leads with Ruto wades into rise sugar wars. Power play President William Ruto is vowing to crush sugar cartels, made reference to just one try who was abducted by unknown persons, saying he's a nobody to manipulate the industry. That's a big story on the front page of The Standard. The story is covered extensively on pages 6 and 7 of The Standard. Other details, DCI sleuths yesterday picked Victoria Commercial Bank CEO associated with Rai for questioning over Mumia's lease saga. President says court cases have to be dropped as they are stalling investment in the company, vowing to take action on the litigants. And a quote by the president, "This is public property and we will not allow individuals to grab property belonging to the people." That's a big headline on the front page of The Standard. Other big stories on the front page. Teachers have nothing to smile about in pay deal. Bittersweet, whereas the tutors will get between 3 to 10% raise. The same is eroded in new taxation measures. In new salary structure, the raise is between 750 shillings and 5,000 shillings, and you get the details on page 5 of the Standard. 785 shillings, the lowest amount some teachers will get in the new salary deal. Interesting, even as we celebrate the pay rise for teachers in that deal signed yesterday between the TSC and 3 teachers' unions, there could be another side to it. Other stories making it to the front page of the Standard today. Fine print in WorldCoin Pact shows risky deal. A case in court has exposed the data breaches many Kenyans are exposed to after they had their eyes scanned for 7,000 shillings. That's a story featuring on the front page. Another one, the compensation blackouts fan redress debate, and this emanates from the blackout last Friday, the countrywide power outage and possible issues of compensation. On the top strip of the Standard this morning, fees shocker for parents in new term. Let me just try and see what kind of details they're talking about on page 4. In most schools, fees has been increased by between 10,000 and 20,000 shillings. Head teachers say they have to devise ways to retain students in schools. So as schools open for third term, many parents are in for a rude shock following the decision by some institutions to increase fees to cover high cost of living and growing debts. That's the story on page 4 of the Standard, and it's featured on the front page. Also on the front page, top strip of the Standard, Zambia seizure, cash and fake gold no one wants. The story is on page 28 on the international pages, and it makes reference to that story of a private plane that landed in Zambia, and it was full of fake gold, guns and hard cash, and no one is claiming it. And the plane is still at the airport. Very interesting. In sports, hope
how much is the ticket from here to Zambia?
Oh, well, it's fake gold, Stanley. Let it go. In sports, hope, dance and heartbreak in Budapest. And that's on the sports pages. And I think it's just a rundown of the World Athletics Championships that ended on Sunday in Budapest, Hungary, and how Kenya performed. Commonwealth Games champion holds off attacks from former champion Moore and silver medalist Hodkinson. 3,000 meters steeplechase world record holder Chepkoech wins silver, and Cherotich bags bronze. Kenya finished 5th in the medal standings. Top African country there with a total of 10 medals ahead of Ethiopia with 9.
It's great. It's actually great to see Kenya up there.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll have to be in the top 3 one day.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And that's on the Standard. And interestingly, that is headlining on the front page of the Daily Nation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the Daily Nation is all glammed up by those heroes there and heroines. On the top strip of the Daily Nation, gallant heroines led medal charge to save Kenya the blushes. And pictured there, Emmanuel Wanyonyi, 800-meter winner, who won and there's Daniel Simiyu, winner 10,000 meters, Beatrice Chepkoech, 3,000-meter steeplechase, and record beater Faith Kipyegon, 1,500 meters and 5,000 meters respectively. And dancing queen there, Mary Mora, won the 800 meters. There's also Abraham Kibiwot, who won the 3,000-meter steeplechase, and Faith Cherotich, 3,000-meter steeplechase, as well as Beatrice Chebet, who won the 5,000-meter race, and Jacob Krop, who won the 5,000 meters there. And congratulations to all those heroes, giving us a total of 10 medals. As Ethiopia got 9, Uganda 2, Morocco 2, as well as Burkina Faso 1. And in matters education, TSC to backdate and pay delayed cash before Thursday. Higher salaries for teachers as schools reopen. And in details there, on page 6 and 7, the breakdown of the increase of different job groups of teachers. And teachers union strikes pay deal with employer that will see the lowest paid tutors benefit more with those teaching in rural areas, bagging improved housing allowances there. And still on the Daily Nation, On the right strip, there we have immigration woes. Here's how we plan to fix passport mess, says the DG Cheluget. Urgent counters established at the Immigration Department to fast-track applications for Kenyans who need to leave the country for educational, medical or work-related reasons, says DG Evelyn Cheluget there on page 8 of the Daily Nation. And KDF recruitment officials promise fairness as military jobs drive start. Those who turn up without certificates of good conduct will not be turned away this year in exercise that is expected to attract huge numbers, given that hiring didn't take place last year. That story is on page 12 of the Daily Nation this morning, and of course you can give it a try. As Stanley here. And away from that,
I'm still contemplating.
All the best. Ruto issues Mumia's order amid dry abduction puzzle. On page 2, the Daily Nation this morning explains that President Ruto orders all persons currently at Mumia Sugar to vacate and withdraw all court cases. This even as Cabra's boss and sugar baron Justwan Rai remained mum over his kidnap ordeal. That's what we have on the Daily Nation this morning.
Right, this even as President William Ruto is expected to meet farmers tomorrow in Vihiga. So we definitely expect to see how that will be shaping up, and
the people daily there.
If it will be, music to their ears for the farmers. But then speaking about music, Taifa Leo goes with reggae yanukia. The whole matters constitution, the back and forth of it. Katika Taifa Leo, harakati za wajuzi wa sheria kutaka mageuzi ya katiba na ajenda za mazungumzo zelekea kwenye kura ya maamuzi. Katiba, baadhi ya ajenda za mazungumzo ya mapatano zikipitishwa zitahitaji marekebisho ya katiba sawa na BBI. Rege iliyozimwa mwaka 2021 katika ukurasa wa pili, na kuna matamko ya Profesa PLO katika sekta ya wanaharakati ambaye anaongoza kundi la wataalamu wa sheria na katibu kuanzisha harakati ya kurekebisha katiba, huku wanasiasa wakiashiria kukubaliana nayo. Na kwa upande wa Azimio, ripoti zaeleza upinzani ukiongozwa na Kalonzo Musyoka umekubaliana na serikali kuhusu haja ya kubuni afisi rasmi ya kiongozi wa upinzani na manaibu wawili. Na kwa upande wa Kenya Kwanza ni kuwa upande wa serikali ukiongozwa na Kimani Ichung'wah wataka afisa ya mkuu wa mawaziri iwekwe katika katiba, hali itakayoishia katika referenda. Mbali na hayo ni kuwa pigo kwa wasichana usajili KDF, baadhi waambiwa hawana nafasi katika uajiri wa makurutu wa kijeshi. Mengi ya hayo ni katika ukurasa wa 4. Na katika masuala ya elimu ni kuwa mishahara sasa walimu ni tabasamu tu, wafungua shule na motisha baada ya TSC kukubali kuongezea mshahara hatimaye, katika ukurasa wa 2. Na katika michezo, Klopp atoa ahadi nono kuhusu EPL baada ya kushinda Newcastle wakiwa na wachezaji 10, asema makuu yaja. Kwingineko ni kwa matatizo ya kuzaa ukiwa na miaka 40, changamoto na uzuri wa mke wa makamo zaidi kushika mimba waangaziwa katika ukurasa wa 13 hadi 17. Na nikumbuke kuwa leo asubuhi tutakuwa tunazungumzia masuala ya uzazi na pia magonjwa ya lemuki, STIs in Swahili.
Magonjwa yanayopitisha kwa njia ya ngono.
Magonjwa ya zinaa.
Magonjwa ya zinaa. Apitishwaje? Magonjwa ya zinaa. Magonjwa yanapitishwa. Alright, that is on katika gazeti la Taifa Leo.
Okay, let's take a look at the Star this morning. The Star chosen to go with the CS waive 61 billion shilling debts to save universities. Auditor General has previously declared leading universities technically insolvent. They're talking about including unremitted statutory deductions, bank and SACCO loans. This is the Star, today's edition of the Star newspaper, the front page. They're talking about universities and the kind of financial woes they face. This is a departure from all the other headlines today. The Star has chosen to go with the suffering of Kenyan universities. Also on the front page of the Star this morning, photographs there from the ongoing KDF nationwide recruitment that got underway yesterday, and a number of possible recruits there going through the motions. And you have pictures there. On the top strip of the Star, boom for teachers as unions seal salary deal with their employer. And that story features on page 6. And that is what we have from the Star this morning.
And on the People Daily, the top headline there, matters still teachers, TSC strike pay deal. That is pretty much what we've seen in the other papers, that is the Daily Nation as well as the Standard. But away from that, also a story featuring on the top page of the People Daily this morning is Churchill. We are probing what caused the blackout. That is concerning the nationwide blackout that was seen over the weekend. And this is the People Daily on the top page. Yeah. And on the very top strip of the People Daily this morning, Ruto warning on revival of Mumias Sugar. President says all court cases touching on struggling millers should be drawn to pave way for its revival, even as the promises wrapped on goodies during the tour of Western. And just a highlight on page 2 of the People Daily, the president there says he has plans to revive the cash-strapped Mumia Sugar Company, including writing off in debts. And Ruto also signaled that the government had ambitious plans to revive the 6 sugar millers and lease them out to private operators to increase the efficiency. And Treasury CS Njuguna Ndung'u presented to Parliament a request to write off the 117 billion shillings owed by 6 state-owned millers. That is plans as far as reviving the sugar companies is concerned. And also on the lower strip of the People Daily this morning, it shows the recruitment of soldiers kicks off countrywide. That story is on page 6 of the People Daily this morning.
Right, in the Business Daily, 2 interesting stories I'm seeing here. Quite sad, by the way, if you've ever used the whole Nairobi Western bypass. So listen to this. So how China farm should change taxpayers on 21.5 billion Kenyan shillings city road. That is on Business Daily. It goes to tell you how an audit reveals Chinese contractor dropped 6 interchanges and built junctions inferior to approved intersections in initial design. Gives you a whole breakdown of that story there. Another interesting read here, Churchill makes U-turn on inflated oil cargo. So the state has made a U-turn regarding the controversial pricing of a diesel cargo that had allowed Oryx Energies to make an extra 1.7 billion shillings through inflated prices, a decision that had split the oil marketers. That is on the right strip of the Business Daily. An extensive read on that is on page 3 of Business Daily. More stories on that on the right side of Business Daily. I believe we have exhausted local papers.
Yes, let's now cross over into Tanzania and look at Mwananchi. And Mwananchi today, uchaguzi mkuu bila katiba mpya. Constitution matters making a headline in Tanzania. Ndoto za vyama vya kisiasa kushiriki uchaguzi wa serikali za mitaa mwakani na ule wa mwaka wa 2025 chini ya katiba mpya zimeanza kuyeyuka. Ni baada ya serikali kuweka wazi mpango wa kuanza na elimu kwa miaka 3. Mnyika, Zito na wadau wapinga wakionya ni ucheleweshaji. And yes, that's what is headlining on Mwananchi today. The other stories there, I don't really think they'll make much of a difference to us. But at least we understand that in Tanzania, issues to do with constitutional change are headlining today.
And on the English version of it, the Citizen this morning, resolve investment rows out of court. the TLS president there, Tanzania can avoid paying heavy penalties in disputes taken before international tribunals by engaging aggrieved parties out of court. This is according to Tanzania Law Society head Harold Sungusia. And on matters Katiba there, 3-year public awareness drive on the cards. The National Strategy for Public Education on the Constitution is expected to run from 2023 to 2026. Constitutional and Legal Affairs Minister Damas Ndumbaro said yesterday. That is what we have on the Citizen, and also some matters. Fishing communities feel the heat of climate change there. That's what's headlining on the Citizen in Tanzania this morning.
Right, and now the daily news, as always, quite busy, but on bold, why decisive leadership vital. Okay, you can see a photo there of Samia Suluhu and other leaders there. Can't quite really comprehend what is written there, but that's basically it. And how Stamiko made incredible revenue rise is on daily news. Also have Habari Leo. Habari Leo on the front page of it, maagizo ya Samia yaanza kung'ata. Rubaini mbaroni wakiwamo madiwani, wataalamu tehama 14 kotini, watahumiwa kuiba katika mikoa 5 kutumia mifumo isiyo rasmi ya mapato. And also I believe the same that was on daily news, mapato Stamiko ya paa zaidi ya mara 60. Okay, any other interesting read here on Habari Leo? I believe that's
I think we've had enough of Tanzania now. It's only fair we take a look at what's headlining in Uganda, and we have the Daily Monitor, and it goes with why Museveni pardoned Luamafa and 199 others. Some 200 convicts, some are capital offenders, none are capital offender, are walking free from various prisons today after President Museveni pardoned them. Out of 1,800 prisoners, the prerogative of mercy committee presented to him for pardon. So yes, 200 prisoners pardoned by Museveni, and they gave the reasons why the president of Uganda decided to grant them pardon, and that is what is headlining on the Daily Monitor today. Wakati wa karakacha ni sasa.
Wakati wa karakacha ni sasa. I can see Limuki is prepared with People Daily. Which page is that for People Daily?
This is page 10 of the People Daily this morning.
Okay.
Of course, page 10 of the People Daily this morning, that's where we have the cartoon there, a caricature of a parent, of an aggrieved parent there. Of course, and then too much school fees. I think it all shows the whole burden of the school fees issue on parents, even as schools reopen this week.
Caught between a rock and a hard place, quote unquote. And one person on this table who really understands that is Fred.
Well.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the other cartoons today.
And on page 17 of the Daily Nation, resonates with the big story this morning, and also our question of the day, taking a look at matters the government services vis-a-vis even the leaders who are actually in this government centers. This is a corruption-free zone. And caricature there of a pig thinking about money, even as it seems as if they're whitewashing the free, probably. The process of whitewashing the free.
Yeah.
This is a corruption zone.
You see, the big question surrounding this whole issue of passports is whether or not it's really an issue of the systems. Is it really about printing machines?
I don't think so.
Or is it all about corruption? So yes, the measures given there by the acting Director General of Immigration Services, all these nice sounding plans on how to remedy the situation, but probably the cartoon on the Daily Nation has captured what the real problem is.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with the machines. Yes.
We might be solving what is not even actually the problem, because even as you bring in new printing machines, more personnel, again, probably now, if it's a corruption zone, then you give more money to actually get your passport in maybe 1 day as compared to 3 days in previously.
They're introducing night shifts as well.
Yes.
Will it necessarily change anything? It's just longer hours to collect more bribes for some of those officers.
Oh, yes.
And hence our question this morning. We're asking, is the government doing enough to remedy the incessant delays in printing of passports? They've introduced a number of a raft of changes there, including new machines. Now applications for passports will be running from 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. You could actually apply any time of day. 24/7 passport printing has been introduced. And what else? Day and night shifts from Monday to Sunday.
Come on.
Interesting. These are government offices. But do you feel that this is actually enough?
And I'm actually curious, even from our view this morning, what is your experience really, by the way? You have probably been to Nyayo, the whole Nyayo house. What is your experience from the door, from the gate, all the way to any of these rooms, interacting with the staff there? What is your experience really when you try to access some of these services, not only even the passport, by the way, even other services there, renewal of the birth certificate, and just any other kind of service? What is your experience really? You can tell us.
Actually, my passport has been stuck there for months, and I hope with this night shift I'll
hopefully
be able to get it earlier.
It may have been printed last night.
Probably, yes.
But then I feel like even as we're in, even the government right now is really pushing for digital space. I hope this will actually come into effect in Nyayo House. When you actually apply right now, it's a seamless process. Yes. Even for not only just having night shifts and all that,
yes,
but also having the fact that you can come to your phone and access some of these services without failure.
But the thing is, the question still begs: is that the solution? Was that the problem, really?
I don't think it was. Because I've seen people get passports in a day or two.
Yes.
And again, and there are others now who have taken 3 months to 6 months. So it means there have been this printing. I don't think printing really is a problem. Mm-hmm. What we need to address is the main issue at the Nyayo House. Yeah.
And is anyone addressing that?
They're not.
That's the question. The main issue, I think, has been captured on the cartoon in the Daily Nation. That you may introduce all these other issues, but the main problem there...
This is a corruption-free zone.
Is it a corruption-free zone? Yes? Well, tuangalie karakacha kwenye standards.
It's definitely the whole matter of passports. I feel like one of these days we should now have the main people who deal with some of these things to come and explain to us really. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you make a passport, like from scratch? How does all that process take?
The understanding here, Stanley, is that one we understand and we are able to do. That is not the issue. The problem is totally different. Uh-huh. And so the government may pay lip service to all these things, but unless you slay the dragon, and that is being talked about, yes, in the cartoon on the Daily Nation, then all these things will amount to nothing. Yes.
So hopefully these are not just band-aids.
Well, it's good if you actually increase the amount of hours that people spend, yes, at work. Yes. Actually put in new machines, mm-hmm, more working hours. It means that you can actually resolve the backlog. But will the problem end with that?
Right, and speaking about problem ending, now to page 16 of the Standard this morning, calls on matters Luhya unity. The president has been there since Saturday, and we have been seeing area leaders, head by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. You can also see there National Assembly, or rather caricatures that look like National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, and that has to be...
Well,
the caricature saying, seniors, sorry, but we must use my team's jersey colors. Mm-hmm. The UDA, I'm forgetting his name.
Looks like Cleophas
Mandela. Yes, the SG UDA. And there's the ball there, 2027. Right. It's interesting, all of them are having number 10 on their jerseys.
I think there was a story on, is it the Daily Nation yesterday, or the Standard, I'll have the Standard actually. It was highlighting the whole story of matters, the trip, the president's trip, the Western region, and now comes in Musalia, comes in Weta, and there's the Cleophas Malala now, who seems like the rising star in matters coming together as the Luhya Nation to actually bring in, to unite that voting bloc for the president. So here it looks like three people who everyone is trying to be the Luhya spokesperson or kingpin. Yeah, but that all will be shaping up slowly as 2027 nears.
It is what is popularly referred to as the elusive Luhya unity. For years on end, it's been elusive. Yeah. Well, today I think the Daily Nation does it for me because it marries with our top story today and also the question that we are asking. I don't know about you.
I think for me it's a Daily Nation as well, and I hope that we can actually address the main issue other than going around corners. And I hope I'm able to get my passport within this week, since now there are more working hours, more printing machines, and also the 58,000 more Kenyans who are waiting to get their passports within this week.
I also go with the Daily Nation. Even as I also prepare to apply for a passport, I now CC to whoever will hold my papers that day, hopefully in time. That is all for the caricature this morning.
Okay, remember our question. Our question today, is the government doing enough to remedy incessant delays in printing of passports? You can share your answer to that question at TV47 News on X and on Facebook, TV47 Kenya. After this break, we'll be having our panel discussing a lot of other issues, including the systems that we blame for all these delays and other issues as well, including the power outage that affected a lot of issues in hospitals and the airport as well. But that after the break. You're watching Morning Cafe. athletes who won medals for Kenya at the World Athletics Championships. It also makes a reference to the pay increase for teachers and issues to do with the sugar politics and the president in Western Kenya. Also, whatever is happening at the Immigration Department makes it to the front page of the Daily Nation. On the Standard, issues to do with sugar in Western Kenya. We also have the teachers' pay rise and as well as fees shocker for parents in new term. This morning we're privileged to have in studio the Honorable Patrick Ngaroya, member of the County Assembly, Kiambu County, representing Gesha and Tigoni Ward. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa. And Eric Ragalo, political analyst, it's good to have you in studio as well.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, a lot is happening in the country. It is a busy month. The issues of devolution, as we mark 10 years of devolution, the issues of possible constitutional amendment with the after we marked 13 years since we promulgated the new constitution, and that debate is now alive with us. But there are things that we've been experiencing over the last few days, issues to do with the systems and how they're managed. We're talking about the issues of the Immigration Department, delays in printing of passports. We also have issues to do with the power outage that we've talked about since Friday last week that may have resulted in even a number of deaths in hospitals, which are yet to be confirmed, but there are claims about that. And probably let's start from there. Because it is our biggest story today, the issues, a number of changes introduced at the Immigration Department, introduction of 24/7 passport printing. They're saying that now you can apply for your passport between 7 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. The fact that you're going to have day and night shifts from Monday across to Sunday. And what we're asking today is the government really doing enough to end these delays in passport printing? Basically, the question is, all this raft of changes introduced at the Immigration Department, are they actually sorting out the problem? Is that really the remedy? Let's start with you, Eric.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here, Fred, and our viewers, wherever they are. I say good morning to you. It's one good week, and we also look at what is happening in our country. I also wish to congratulate our fellow Kenyans who brought glory to our country. We are #1 in Africa. Not doing so well because we've done better than this, but #1 is #1 either way. We also want to congratulate anybody else who participated in this and never brought anything. They also pushed our name forward. Going to what you are talking about, Fred, if you add tuition and then you give more classwork to students, do you expect them to perform better? Mm-hmm. No. You're actually overburdening them and they will become dunderheads. What I'm saying is when education time came, this time people used to, you will find students in school up to 6, and they will go to school Sundays and Saturday, if you remember that time. Mm-hmm. Until such a time, the government saw it was not helping. So they scrapped off Saturday and Sunday going to school because kids need to play. What I'm trying to say is giving 24-hour printing does not stop corruption. And we have different types of corruption. Mm-hmm. Giving out money, we call it corruption. And delays is not corruption. Some of the delays are made. And how are they made? You've heard, the printing machine has broken down, the printing machine is working under its level. So you wonder, how does a printing machine break down all the time? What they're trying to do is making work efficiently, but not preventing or making sure that corruption does not work. What brings corruption, really? What brings corruption is very easy. Balance humanity in this country. You can't have someone earning 10 million and the other person earning 10,000. Mm-hmm. That is, the 10,000 person will definitely look on how to survive. The 10 million person will put barbed wire razor blade wires and put electricity wire and a long concrete fence to make sure the poor person will never come to their compound. When you balance life, automatically you'll take care of corruption. And this corruption also comes in when you have a big difference in wage bill and people who are not employed. Where do you expect them to go to? When you go to countries abroad, people who have age are given stipend. Our country, people of age, they are called mahaslas. And they are given promises how their dream will come true, which have never come true. How did Kibaki manage this now? And I will always go back to Kibaki time. There was something called economic stimulus package. People were employed, given contracts that were running up to 3 years, renewable or non-renewable. If it is renewable, you will be employed. But this system from there, ESP went. So where do you expect after Kibaki left, which is now 10, 11 years, where when the system stopped employing, which basically around 6 years now, guys are not getting employed anymore, where do you expect the 6-year group going? Where are they? So corruption will never end as long as we have our poor people. Poverty is not about someone walking naked without clothes. Poverty can be poverty of lack of money, lack of health care, lack of good education. So our country will always be corrupt if health care is bad. Good education is bad. Everything is bad. Our roads are poor. How do you expect corruption to end?
Okay. Let's bring in Honorable Patrick Ngaruya into this conversation because, yes, Kibaki came in before even the advent of devolution. Yet we are seeing that slowly we are going back to a system or to a situation where government systems are no longer working. As Eric Ragalo rightly put it, probably there was a time back in the day when things appeared to be some sort of relief. Government systems were actually a bit more reliable. But you are going back to a system where failure blamed on machines in government is a norm rather than an exception. And we're talking about not just even a printing of passports, even other documentation like death and birth certificates. Generally, it is an issue now. It's becoming more difficult to access this.
Thank you, Fred, for hosting me. And I want to appreciate your invitation here, and I'm glad. So for the viewers, my name is Patrick Ngaruya, MCA Geshatikoni Ward in Limuru Sub-County, and I was elected on a UDA ticket. And what I can say for now, we give credit where credit is due. Where there have been challenges, but it is also good to appreciate that this is a new government. We just inherited a government from the previous regime. And honestly speaking, the issue of passport and all that, maybe somebody somewhere is sabotaging the government to discredit the government of the day. But we want to appreciate the leadership of the UDA being led by our able President William Samoei Ruto, and Rigathi Gachagua, our Deputy President, because they are working day in, day out to ensure all those challenges that are there. For sure, there are challenges, and because the system has been in existence, what we only asking or demanding from from the citizen, just give the government a little time. And I can assure you, Bonafred, it shall be well.
The question is, because you've actually drawn politics into this and said that probably it is a change of government. But we understand that government exists in perpetuity, that these departments were there even before Ruto became president. And some of the problems were there. It takes time for a government system to actually deteriorate to the level. And we're not even saying that this deterioration began immediately after Ruto became second president. No, it has been happening over time. But it has gotten to a point that it's now at crisis level. Can we really blame the previous administration?
We are not blaming Ruto even.
Eric.
We are not even blaming Ruto. My brother, I want to help you here. I'm an ODM member. Life member. I'm a politician like you know me better. Let's not pull politics. We are helping government here.
Yes.
When systems are not working, it is not Ruto. It is not Gachagua. It's not UDA, brother. We help the government. Because let me give you an example. We have countries that systems work. In Africa here, go to Mauritius, go to Seychelles. System work because systems were, the person who started it made sure system can work even after 10 presidential elections. You understand? So what I was asking, and this is what I'm saying, we are not talking Ruto here, kindly. Kibaki removed all the bureaucracies that were there. We are old enough to know to get a PIN number, you needed a chief's letter, if you remember. A letter from church. A PIN number was a big issue. We are old enough to know that because we went through that. From there, to get a passport, it was like holding God with your own hand. You remember those times? And some of us got passports then. And it was trouble at Nyayo. When Kibaki came, he removed some bureaucracies. Even in the banks, to open a bank account, do you know how many things you needed? You remember those things? So Kibaki removed all those bureaucracies. Then things became, the wheels started rolling. And people appreciated what was there. Though it was not working so well, but at least it was working better than an initial one. So people wanted an improvement. Then we went back. It didn't just start with Ruto. Pap! Now we're having 10,000, someone to pay 10,000 every passport that you want to pick. You understand? Which is not cash, that is nene. You understand what I'm saying? So how do we assist the government? Is the government adding time of work going to help this?
Okay. Well, I want you appreciate the fact that the government of the day is working day around the clock, because you have initiated the digital system. And very soon everything is going to be digitized. And the purpose of the UDA government is to make sure that even our youths online, they benefit. And one of the issues that it's good to highlight is citizen, somebody somewhere, just like you saw the other day, there was somebody hacked our system. I cannot 100% say that the government has failed, but what we are just asking or requesting, because we found a system that has been in existence, we only need a little time to understand the system, what is happening, and our president has committed that we are going to have a new system. We are going to make everything online to ease the activities and the services.
What do you say to this? What do you say to this? The fact that the CS in charge of the CS for Interior, Kithure Kindiki, has actually termed Nyayo House a crime scene, and that has to do with the corruption levels at Nyayo House. Yet we see the Immigration Department introducing a raft of new measures that have nothing to do with corruption. Introduction of extended periods for printing, new machines coming in, introduction of day and night shifts to reduce the backlog. Because we understand the problem, but it would appear that the remedy that the government is introducing vis-a-vis what it describes as a problem by the CS himself is not in tandem. The CS knows it's corruption, but the introduction of longer periods of printing, is that really the solution?
Fred, what I can say, and it's good to be honest, we inherited a system. And when you inherit a system, of course I'm very sure there are forces that you work day and night to ensure they sabotage the government. Like, for example, the immigration officers who have been there, they are not hired by the current regime.
So they get sacked.
But immigration officers are government officers, and they stay there despite...
So, if they tampered with the system to discredit the government, the government of the day, Now that is where we are coming in.
Fred.
We will be able to study the system, see where the challenges are, then we come up with remedy.
Fred.
Yes.
Fred, I want to tell my brother here, I want to go back to our school. Our school is a very nice system. So the headmaster lives in the deputy. You need to get a new headmaster and the deputy. When the headmaster and the deputy comes, what do? They sit down with the staffs. They start with the working staff, the subordinate staff. They will even sit down with the teaching staff. Then they will sit down with the parents and the BOG, and then they sit down with the students to listen to students. Are you getting this? Mm-hmm. So how did, that's why we are tackling corruption. How did our government that we have today come in? Mm-hmm. I want to go back to the government of Kibaki vis-a-vis this one. The government of Kibaki, when they came in, it communicated to the people, talk to the people. Hey guys, this is our situation as a country and it is dire. Help us manage your country. Mm-hmm. The government of Kibaki came and told, and that is how police were being held culprits by even Kenyans. The government of Kibaki told us, hey guys, we are not collecting enough money. Mm-hmm. Kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. Tusaidianeni kulipa ushuru. The government of Kibaki told us, hey guys, how do we work it out to employ ourselves? So it was always in communication with the people. It came to communicate with the staffs. You remember we had meetings, what we used to call like Minister of Transport. You'll have meetings as transport department from the lowest to the top. Mm-hmm. They will look at the cars, why are we not working well? What is not happening? So we have T, so what do we do about T? It is not the government leaders who removed T. T was removed by Kenyans. Mm-hmm. The Kenyans walikuwa nasema tulikuwa tunapata koti na tunapata wakikunywa chai. So it engaged people in managing their country. How did you bring your country? How did you take up your country? I want to tell you how this government has failed. It came with the beating and chest stamping and harassing people.
But is that really the issue that you're facing?
No. Yeah, I'm bringing that issue. I'm bringing that issue. I'm bringing that issue how it affects. All these people he's claiming that ni wa kusabotage. I'm telling him how it works. Everybody is employed from a certain government and a certain system. Mm-hmm. And people are loyal with the people who employed them. If you're employed by the Kibaki government, you'll be loyal with those people. So when a government comes, it embraces everybody. Don't fight people expecting to work with them. So what I'm trying to say is, be a socio-friendly government, and people will tell you their problems and think will start working. But when you come, it must happen.
It is a connection between the government, the existence of public servants, and the connection to the failure of the government. Specifically the immigration department that I'm still not getting.
Fred, I want to answer my friend here. He's putting it clearly. During the Kibaki era, systems were running. Then he should be telling us, where did we go wrong? Mm-hmm. Because there is a bit that is skipping. After Kibaki left, what happened? There was no vacuum. And now that is where the challenge is. And he doesn't want to discuss that. Mm-hmm. And because there was that vacuum, there is a gap, there was mess. Now we are here to fix it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The new government, the new UDA government is here to fix what has been not going well.
Okay. So and they are fixing. They are fixing. They've said,
and we are fixing.
They are fixing. They've promised the introduction of extended
and that
periods
is why
of
we are extending.
printing.
And that is why we are extending.
Yes.
It didn't happen.
But the question is that remedying the real problem, which is corruption at the immigration department, which it is a CS who said, not me, the CS himself said, the big issue at Nya House, it is a crime scene, there's too much corruption.
Yes, and why he said that, because we inherited a system, and he gave a very good example of a school. Okay. You see, if a school, there is a pattern. For example, Starehe Boys. There was a culture that was introduced by the Griffins. So if the current principal decide I'm going to go my way, And disregard what Griffin started, you can't blame Griffins.
Okay.
And therefore, Kibaki did well. He brought structures, there was order, there was system running up and down. But along the line, after transition of Kibaki, everything went wrong.
Okay.
And now that is the mess that you want to correct.
Which government was that?
Gentlemen, hold that thought there. Let's take a break. When we come back, let's hold that thought and we take a break. You're watching Morning Cafe, and today we ask, is the government doing enough to remedy incessant delays in printing of passports? And we're seeing this, the full knowledge of the introduction of that raft of measures, including extended periods of printing, and as well as introduction of shifts from Monday to Sunday, night shift and day shift, just to extend that period for printing. You're watching Morning Cafe. We'll be back to continue with this discussion. Introduced from Monday to Sunday, and applications will now be received from 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Other remedies include acquiring new booklets, repairing and purchasing new machines that will allow for 24/7 printing of passports. And Cheluget says the changes will bolster the processing and issuance of travel documents and effectively address the long-standing delays that have sparked agitation from the public. And today we ask, is the government doing enough to remedy incessant delays in printing of passports? I'm still in studio with the Honorable Patrick Ngaruya, MCA Ngesha Tigoni Ward in Kiambu, and Eric Regalo, political analyst. And we want to now extend this conversation to also look at matters devolution and everything else. The question is, who exactly is to blame? Is it the leaders or the government systems? Now, this month we're also marking 10 years of devolution, and we're seeing some persistent problems. Also in Kiambu County, on page 10 of the Standard, there's a headline, Mwangaza and Deputy clash over nepotism and exclusion claims. This is in Meru. The governor and her deputy, Isaac Mutuma, are on a collision course barely a year into office. At the heart of their fights are claims of nepotism, sabotage, and exclusion. Now, we've just been talking about the big problem that could be ailing the immigration department, and that we've described as corruption, the CS himself said. Now, we're seeing some of these things also extending to the devolved systems, issues to do with nepotism, sabotage, and exclusion. Is it that our government systems have been designed to nurture these problems that are never ending? When we talk about devolution and we talk about the progress made, the biggest issue and the biggest hurdle that devolved units face up till now is the issue of corruption. We devolved corruption from the national level to the county level. And so even as we see corruption at immigration department, there's also corruption at the county level. So do we still blame the leaders? Now that you said that the leadership changes, as Honorable Garuya said, that the leadership changes at the national level could be to blame for the issues we're seeing at the immigration department. Should we blame the leadership changes at the county level for the continued issues we face there as well?
Usually at the county level, what I've come to realize, and I've seen in the county level, and my brother here has been in Kiambu, you find two people coming together under one ticket. That is the deputy and the governor. Then 1 year down the line, each person becomes the head of the county. That one we saw during Waititu time. That one we saw during Kabogo's time. And that one is going to happen during Wamatangi's time. I'm not a prophet of doom, but I'm seeing Wamatangi leaving that seat and the lady becoming the governor. According to what I'm seeing Kiambu doing, we're going to have another governor very soon, maybe by the end of the year or early next year.
Why is that?
Because things changes. Mm-hmm. We come together, but in the middle of the game, I also want to find my way out. And most of the time, deputies don't have any job. There is no job description of a deputy governor, unless the governor decides what to give the deputy. Mm-hmm. Like there is no job description for the deputy president, unless the president decides to offer deputy president. Is
it a failed system, the one that we chose for ourselves? Because yes,
exactly.
In defining devolution, this is how we set it up.
And that is why, by that time, that's why we were bringing BBI. I was part of the writers of BBI, and that's why we were bringing BBI, so that the deputy can have a job. The governor will have a job. Everyone will have a structured job, even the deputy president, and there will be no friction. And you remember that was brought by Mr. Ruto himself. He said, mimi sina kazi. Mimi kazi yangu ni kutumwa. Nikienda nitumwe nifungue hii, nimefanya makosa gani? And that was true. So right now, what is the function of the deputy governors? They don't have function. And that's why the deputy governor of Kisumu, the only deputy governor has worked seamlessly well with the governor. You can pick, there are few, okay? How have they been working? He has been given a docket to run. So he's busy. He's also checking what governor is doing and assisting the governor. And there is also a docket that is running. If you don't do that to this guy, he has so much time to vanquish you. The other thing is little, very little has been given to the governors to do. Health has fully devolved. And it's only health that they are running fully, nothing else. So they have time to do politics. Can you give them jobs to do? Why in 10 years and above? Because this is 2010. Why in 10 years and above? So fully started in 2013 but 10 years down the line, there are things that have not been fully devolved. Mm-hmm. And you are still going to the national government to sign to tenge. And you see, kutenga itatengwa kabisa, but that one which you are asking kutengwa should be down there. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, when we devolved these structures, and this is now the honest truth, MCA is here. His family line, I'm not pointing him, but I'm showing MCA is here. His family line, like the MCA's family line, there are over 20 family members who are not working. They also need jobs. And he's there. So the system has been brought down, and it's opening avenues for jobs. Who will he employ first? Mm-hmm. Me, I'm saying Eric Ragalo, I will employ my family members first before I go anywhere else. What did you expect? So my family member...
Openly so.
Yes. How will I employ other people and my brother is not working?
Isn't that the part of the problem? Nepotism.
It is not. It's nepotism. Let me be honest here. Let's talk openly. Mm-hmm. We need to make sure everybody can get a job. And people need to get
But
a
will
job
nepotism
freely.
be the solution, or corruption be the
Issue
solution?
is
to
not
this?
nepotism. Issue is where the rain started beating us. That the guy who can get 300,000 will get to the army. The guy who can chop out 200,000 will get to police. The guy who can talk to TSC and give out 50,000, his name will get into to the TSC now. Will get a TSC number.
The person who will give 50,000 will get a passport within a day.
The guy who will pay 50,000 will get a passport, not within a day. Day is long, within an hour. You know what I'm saying? So if all this stops, so many things will stop. But I will not look at my family members suffer because now I'm becoming Jesus Christ. I'll employ them first before I go elsewhere. Kawera did the best. He employed the sister, Maranani, everybody was employed, and Kawera did what is supposed to be done. You cannot let your people hungry, you go employ other people.
But your role in the county assembly is supposed to check such excesses, that nepotism and corruption by the county executive.
And he has to be honest.
Is basically your job at the assembly to check
I
that.
want to disagree with my friend here, Eric, because number one, he's not in position to speak on behalf of Kiambu. I'm a leader there, and for your information, I'm the trade chairman, Kiambu County Assembly. So when he alleges that he understands Kiambu's politics better than us, who are born and raised in Kiambu, that is erroneous. And what I can categorically say about Kiambu, Kiambu is a unique county, and he should appreciate that. Why you see there all these ragos and all these things? Because we are second largest economy generating county after Nairobi. And of course, we are more populous than any other county. And for your information, we are the county that delivered the most votes to our president. And we are also generating income. In fact, this year we have a budget of 21 billion. And when you talk of nepotism, I would wish him to point examples. Because you see, nowadays, we don't work with heresy and rumors and all that. He should point out and indicate this and this and this were done through nepotism.
To be fair, I think when it comes to nepotism, the examples were from other counties, not necessarily Kiambu. Because Kiambu is a different issue altogether. And we've seen recently, especially at the county assembly, the removal of the leader of majority. And this has been interpreted to mean that it leaves the governor at risk of impeachment at the assembly level. And probably that's where we should go, because this is not the first time. I think Governor Matangi has been under threat of impeachment before, sometime late last year, sometime early this year, and we even saw the deputy president have a sitting with the MCAs and the governor to try and remedy that situation. Then now we're seeing the removal of the majority leader. The last time that assembly removed a majority leader, the governor was impeached, Governor Waitito, within a month or so. Is this the same kind of risk that Governor Wamatangi is facing now?
Maybe what I can say on that, sorry, I'm not in a position to speak on behalf of Kiambu County.
But you sit in the assembly.
Yes, because we have a speaker in place who is better placed to speak on behalf of Kiambu County. The speaker is in charge of Kiambu Assembly. And of course, we have the clerk. So matters assembly, we have the speaker who is able to address that in a sober way. Then matters county, we have the governor. Then of course, matters the national, we have the president. So if you can ask me anything to do with Gesha Tigoni ward, where I represent, or the trade department, where I'm the chair, I'll comfortably answer that. But now when it comes to leadership and whatever is happening, I may not be in a position to answer that because I'm not private to what is happening.
But you sit in the assembly. You understand exactly what's in the impeachment of the majority leader. Okay, take us through what informed the impeachment of the majority leader.
Yes. Because you are the guys who impeached him.
You see, in every democratic country, people are allowed to express their wish. And anybody, as long as you have genuine, you see what happens in law. you don't work with emotions or excitement. There has to be facts. And for sure, if the facts are enough to remove the majority, he will have to go. But just like I said, we wait for the process to be complete. If the majority, if the party decide or the leadership decide, we will have a new majority leader, then so be it. But for now, as things are, I'm not in a position to address that issue because I may not have that nitty-gritties.
But as a member of the County Assembly of Kiambu, do you agree with that move to remove the leader of majority? Do you support it?
He voted yes.
Well,
the list is out.
Well, he's here.
He voted yes.
What informed that decision to vote yes?
Yes, he voted yes.
well, just like I said, Bonafred, I may not be in a position to speak on behalf of the Assembly.
Oh,
fair enough.
Because the matter is in court, and we shall be unfair to discuss a matter that is in court. So once it is determined, once it is heard and determined, we shall be free to discuss about it. But for now, let's wait for the process to take its due course. Yes.
How do you interpret the issue in Kiambu? We've seen it's not simple. When you remove a leader of majority, there's something else simmering. It's not just window dressing.
Brother, just to clear for you, I was born, brought up, and bred in Ruiru. I stood for MCA Ruiru 2013. I've stood for MP Ruiru also. So I am a Ruiru, though I am Luo. So when you talk of Kiambu, I was born there in 1981.
And for your information,
so I know Kikuyu than I know Luo.
And for your information, Kiambu is the only county in Kenya. And I want you to appreciate that, Eric. We have 2 non-Kikuyus MCAs. We have one, Brian Simiyu, who is Aruya.
I know.
We also have Odhiambo, Kenneth Odhiambo.
I know.
Both in Kahawa, Wedani, and Sukari.
Yes.
If you go to Kisumu, you will not find a Kamau there.
Okay, well,
so I want to appreciate Kiambu County.
Okay.
It's diverse.
Okay.
And we don't have tribalism and all
Okay, I will answer you that.
We even have a nominated MCA from Western, Pacific Augecha.
Okay.
But when you go to Western, to Nyanza, you will not find a Kamau there or a Wajiko there.
You don't have to find Kamau. We have Junet. You do have to find Kamau. We have Junet. We have the Hindu, the Muindi MP for forever in Kisumu East. I'm forgotten, former Shakil Shabir, former even mayor and what have you. So you do have to have a Kikuyu to be satisfied. Okay. There are other tribes there, but I
think the point is made.
So what I'm trying to tell him is that when you find a majority leader affected, a majority leader is like the majority leader in parliament, the national parliament. If the majority leader in national parliament is affected, then the leadership that be understand what is happening and they want the majority leader out. You saw what happened during the last parliament when majority leader was shoved out. The system knew what was happening and they wanted him out. And that's how majority leader got himself out of the seat in parliament and it was taken over by someone else. So if this majority leader was living in Kiambu, the UDA as UDA structure of Kiambu County was aware and the national structure was aware. You cannot remove a majority leader. And majority leader to be appointed, it's also political. It has to be a negotiation of who can drive the county. So it's never an appointment of you stand. No, it is something sat down. And I know how this thing is sat down. They are even taken to Mombasa for a retreat to bring a list.
But afraid I want to...
Let me finish, because I know what I'm talking about. And you can smile and you know what I'm talking about. They go to Mombasa for a retreat. Who is going to majority? Nani atakuwa nini? And I remember last time when they went there, they were expecting governor to be there. Governor hakukuja. Waliachwa Mombasani peke yao, waongee mambo yao. Walikuwa expect governor akuje. Kama nadanganya, aseme nadanganya. I know Kiambu more than he knows. Maybe he thinks that I don't know. So now the governor is out. Who is being reached? So what is going to play here? Very simple. And this is my analogy of politics, and I'm a political analyst, and this is my analogy. One, the MP Thika, we could leave Thika and come to Nairobi to become a CAS. This is play 2027. Then the former MP Thika becomes MP.
Post
Jango.
2027.
This is before. Now this is what is. Wamatangi could leave. And when Wamatangi leaves, the guy who becomes the governor is the lady, the deputy governor. She becomes the governor. Then she will appoint a deputy governor who could be Waitito. Okay? Then, this is a political play. Then, 2027, we may find ourselves having lady running. So, this lady Thika MP will run against Wamushomba for governorship of Kiambu. It is a preparation for the next, because if Wamatangi meets Wamushomba, he's vanquished. So we prepare Kiambu for a governorship that will come.
Okay.
So that is what is playing now before then. And he doesn't want to say it, but he knows what I'm saying.
Honorable Ngarewa, even as you respond to that, there's a lot that can be said about the relationship between the assembly and the governors. And it's not just in Kiambu. We've seen it happening elsewhere. We've seen it happening in Meru and in other assemblies. And in previous devolution cycles, we've seen the assemblies incessantly seek to impeach their governors, some of them successful, including in Kiambu. Is it the same issue of facing Kiambu today? Because we've seen attempts, and I mentioned earlier this year, to try and impeach the governor.
Maybe what I can answer my friend before I answer you, he should admit that he's an ODM, just like he said, and my UDA. And we run our things differently. The way they run their things in ODM, it's totally different from what we do in UDA. And it is the prerogative of the party to decide through the members, the bona fide members of UDA. This is going to be the majority. We vote for the majority of our choice. And when that time comes, just like I stated, the matter at hand is in court. And I want to be very careful not to discuss it. Rest, they start following me up. But just like I indicated earlier before, we have planned, we are organized, and at the right time, we shall make the right decision and the right communication. And what I can say is that assembly, our role is clearly defined by the Constitution: legislature, oversight, and representation. And what we do, like the assembly, is if, for example, we did a budget, we tulipitisha budget of 21 billion, na tukaambia governor, this is what you're supposed to do. So our work as MCAs now will be, we gave you this. How much have you been able to spend? What did you do with this money? That is now the oversight role. And when we are asking questions, it doesn't sometimes mean that we are fighting. We only need a clarity. We need an answer there. But you see, my friend here is reading so much. He even have his own county where he has his own governor. I can hear him, even he has a lineup of the governor in Kiambu for 2027. So I'm not private to what he has. That is his own making. I will not discuss that. But I want to tell him, Kiambu, we have got able leaders.
Okay.
And I can assure you, with the leadership that we have, number one, I want to commend all the MPs in Kiambu, because they are united for a common cause, to make Kiambu great, to return the glory of Kiambu. In fact, Kiambu used to shine in terms of education and so many other aspects. We have got great people from Kiambu like the Goge Wathiongos. And that is why our MPs and the MCAs are coming together to return the glory of Kiambu.
Honorable Ngaroya, could the issue be, because this has been experienced elsewhere, that the differences between the county assembly and the executive, that being the governor, is the issue of the much talked about word development fund, or whatever it is that you may have chosen to call it in your county, that MCAs are keen to have a fund assigned to each county, like in your case, Ngesha Tigoni, and any reluctance by the governor to agree to that then presents a problem. Could that be an issue?
You see, Bwana Fred, legally, when you do a budget, it is supposed to be, the impact is supposed to be felt at the ward level. Because surely speaking, the governor doesn't have a ward. So whatever happens with the budget, it must be seen in our respective wards. And just like so many other wards the counties are doing, like a case of Tana River, we also have Siaya, we have Nairobi. You have got ward-based projects, not necessarily funds, ward-based projects. Mm-hmm. Because the purpose of devolution, we were in Eldoret last week. The purpose of devolution is to touch that mwananchi who is on the ground. So irrespective of whether you want to be what in future,
so how does
our goal is to touch that person on the ground.
So how does is that happening in Kiambu?
How does it work?
Is that happening in Kiambu, Honorable Ngaruya?
For now, well, let me be open. For now, there is.
That is where the problem is, Eric. You can see the difficulty.
I know.
That is where the issue.
I know what happened, and this issue became a big issue 3-4 months ago. To an extent, there was no good communication between the MCAs and the governor. Mm-hmm. He's bringing issue Kiambu. He doesn't know where I come from. I am Kiambu born. What he's talking about, it's not literally money to the MCA. MCAs come up with projects they want their county, their area to be done. Then these projects are budgeted for. It's the same way there is a budget for whatever, for the national budget, the way it's done, because all the departments bring their issues, then it's budgeted as a whole. So what happens is the MCA, and this is what they want the power to control. The honesty is they want the power to control. They are claiming, and this is it, that Wamatangi analeta tractor inalima, hata ile tipa inabeba mchanga inatoka kaunti. Mchanga, wakitisha mchanga, wanaletewa mchanga, si pesa. Ngaruya may ask for mchanga for his Ngesha market, for example. Ataletewa hiyo mchanga, na driver ataletwa, mwenye ataletwa si driver wake, mchanga italetwa, kila kitu italetwa na achiwe hapo. So what they want is the power to control, to bring, to even do what do you call this? To decide who brings them mchanga. Mm-hmm. So that MCAs may get something. The honest truth is that. So what they claim, and this is the truth in Kiambu, is that wakiambia Wamatangi barabara inaundwa, Wamatangi will put that as a budget. He will bring a tractor. Itakata barabara. Mm-hmm. Ataleta watu wa mkazi.
And there will be no money directly.
There will be no money directly to MCA. That one is the truth.
That is the issue. Honorable Ngaruya.
I want to appreciate the fact that Eric said that one time he vied for an MCA, but he was not elected. Mm-hmm. So he's not authorized to speak on behalf of the MCAs because he's not...
Bwana Ngesha, mtu akiongea ukweli.
Let's allow him to clarify.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, it will be so bad for us to be seated here and it's lying to the public. Number one, whether the governor comes to Gesha Tigoni and do all the roads, me, I don't need to get, I'm paid by the government. I'm earning a salary. Mm-hmm. So whatever he's alleging, that is happening in other counties, not Kiambu. Okay. You see, our main purpose, we assured our people tutatengeneza barabara. Mm-hmm. So the methods and the process that is going to be used, that is immaterial.
So you leave that to the governor?
We leave that to the governor. So as we want delivery of services. Mm-hmm. And you see, for your information, I want to educate you a little bit. MCAs have got no mandate in terms of funds. Mm-hmm. Our work is to oversight, to represent, and to redistribute. Hakuna mahali tumeambua mambo ya.
So the issue with the governor is...
So whether he brings the cash or whatever, we cannot do it. We are tied by the law.
Honorable Ngaruya, so the issue between the MCAs and the governor in Kiambu is failure by the governor to effect development at the ward level?
What we are fighting and what is our concern He's stating clearly that the governor will bring Malolis and all that. But it is sad, the status of Kiambu, nothing is happening. See, there is no development per se. You can't equate and say there is this road that has been done or such or such. So now our question and our concern is, we did a budget, we gave him money, but nothing. So when you say that Wamatangi analeta lori na nini ati sasa tunataka pesa, that is erroneous. And I want to state clearly,
So how does it?
whether the road is done from heaven or from earth, that will be our joy.
In other counties, they've come up with legislation to ensure that they've set aside some funding. Case in point, Western Gishu, that each ward, according to legislation by the assembly, there's a certain amount set aside for the county, yes, to be implemented by the county executive, but oversighted by the assembly. Have you attempted anything close to that?
And that is why I was talking of ward-based projects, not ward-based funds, ward-based projects in a particular ward. Like, for example, being the chair of trade, in our 60 wards, we have allocated projects worth 40 million per ward. And that one we did all the registrature, the paperwork, everything. We even did the budget. We gave the governor money because they came up with the request and all that, and we did everything. So it is now upon the governor to implement what we did, we passed.
Is he implementing?
For now, not yet, because I also have to be honest. Yes.
And that is part of the problem.
Now that, for honesty speaking, that is now where we are coming in as legislatures and to oversight. You see, like in a family, if you give your wife 1,000 for shopping, na ukute jioni hakuna food, hakuna nini, watoto wamelala njaa. So you question the wife, I gave you 1,000, mbona watoto wamelala njaa?
Okay.
So wife hataanza kusema unampiga. You are only asking question because you gave her money. The challenge would be you did not give her money, but you have given her money, you gave her the freedom and the choice to make any choice of the shopping. So now that is where we are coming in as MCAs of Kiambu. So we are not after money, we are getting our salaries, we are paid. We want service delivery. Tuwekewe mataa, watu wetu wawekewe mataa, barabara zitengenezwe, all that, vijana wetu wapate kazi.
Let's now take this conversation towards something else that's happening and the discussion about possible amendments to the Constitution. Because even the role of the MCA is clearly defined. The role of the National Assembly member is clearly defined. It's oversight, legislature, and representation. Yet we're seeing continuously, probably even this discussion we're having here, the Ward Development Fund or its equivalent, mirrors very much what is happening at the national level with the CDF discussion as well. That members who are elected to the assemblies to oversight, represent, and legislate are eager to take part in implementation of developments at the either ward level or constituency level. And it is not part of their constitutional mandate. Should we relook at that and probably allow that even MCAs should be allowed to implement development at the ward level?
I agree. MCAs, why are they voted? They are voted because they gave their story, and their story was bought by the employer. The employer was told, I'm going to make sure you have water, running water. The employer was told, I'm going to make sure you are accessible to your houses and to wherever you go. The employer was told good things that employer said, the guy here in Gesha here, this is the guy because he's talking nice things. But now, the guy in Gesha is not doing that.
Because it's not his role. His role, as described in the Constitution, is to legislate, oversight, and represent.
And now I'm telling you this. So the employer will not understand that the guy in Gesha is not doing his job. He will understand the guy in Gesha lied to us. So I will understand when the employer tells the guy in Gesha, you go home. But the employer will not understand. Roles change. Immediately you get in. The MP is not even supposed to be pushing CDF. That is not his role at all. Okay? So, we may need a constitutional review. But now the issue is, under what name? Because everything I'm seeing here is the BBI. Mm-hmm. Everything that was in the BBI is the same things people still talk about today. Mm-hmm. When you go to Mount Kenya here, the other day, Mr. William Ruto was in Mount Kenya. Nobody talked of 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. Mm-hmm. For the first time, I saw cowards, people who fear to talk the truth to the head, mm-hmm. because they feared the backlash. But the story here is 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. But when the Mdosi comes, they will not say it. Mm-hmm. Sijaiona watu waoga kama hawa. Mm-hmm. But in other areas, people will tell the president to his face. When he went to Busia, Omtata said it. When he went to Kisii, he was told. There are people there who has the muscle to talk what is supposed to be said, what people represent. Mm-hmm. But when they come to Mount Kenya, they will go under, but when the Mdosi comes out, they start making noise. 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. And this is what they do every night, every day. So I want to tell him, brother, the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling that you guys still sing about, bring it back.
But Fred, what I
Prime Cabinet Secretary.
Let's allow,
Yes, what I can tell my friend here, Eric, he's not authorized to speak on behalf of Kiambu because he's not a nominated MCA, nominated MP, or elected. Number 1, it is very wrong for him to allege that the MPs should not be pushing for CDF. Number 1, I want to commend my MP, my area MP, Honorable Engineer Kirago. He's a gentleman. Mm-hmm. You see, my ward has been lagging behind in terms of development. And I went to my MP. Because you see, being a leader, I am able to interact with all the elected leaders. I went to my MP and I pleaded with him. And I told him, oh, our people are languishing because of pathetic roads. And he heard me, he heard my cry. Akaenda kwa kera, akaenda Oroba, akashughulika, sasa barabara zangu zote amenitengenezea. Mm-hmm. So I give him credit on that. And it is also good for this Eric guy to know. Mm-hmm. Wajiko hakuwa anajua kazi ya MCA. And our work is very simple and clearly defined by the Constitution. And for your information, Bona Eric, we are anchored in the Constitution because Article 195 gives the county assembly powers the same as that of High Court. And that is why some of these people who are still in, they are still in Slabaland. You must appreciate now we're in a new era, we have a new government.
Hence the question, and the question is, I agree, because he supports the fact that CDF should be there. But it goes against the principles of the Constitution as it is right now. And we're trying to mirror that and compare with what is happening at the ward level or at the county level. That probably as we have this discussion of members of the National Assembly being given an entrenching CDF in the Constitution, there's also the same question with the senators, and they want an oversight fund for themselves as well. Should we be having a similar conversation about the MCA, that the MCA should also be allowed to directly conduct development projects at the ward level? Do you think that would be a solution?
Well, it should. Mm-hmm. And I want to appreciate that all elected leaders, the MP, the senator, the MCA, and the governor, we were elected for one sole purpose, to serve Mwananchi. And just like I indicated, if the roads are done by the MP, so be it. Because our core value and vision and mandate is to serve that Mwananchi. Mm-hmm. Ni kama like if you are thirsty, somebody brings water who is not even from your tribe, the bottom line is that you have quenched the thirst, irrespective of where water came from.
Would that system work better, or if we allow?
So what we should appreciate is We have inherited a system, and now we want to undo the so many bad things that were done by the previous regime. And that is why now,
the law
as we are pushing for ward-based projects. So whether it is in monetary forms or whatever, we don't care. But
so you don't want, you're not pushing for an equivalent
of projects
CDF.
that are going to be felt on the ground, and that is where now, you know, the governor is the CEO of the county. So once we pass the budget, now it is our duty as the elected MCAs to ask him, what did you do with this money that we gave you? And we shall be able to ask all those questions.
It is a lack of clarity. It's like we're trying to make a mongrel of some sort. We, on one hand, we say the MCA should do this. On the other hand, this is what the MCA wants to do.
Let me be honest with you.
Is it for him?
Let me be honest with you. I was voted by over 30,000. Bro, 30,000 votes in Ruiru on ODM ticket. Mbona unasema hii mambo mingi? So what I'm trying to tell my brother here is, there should not be an MP or an MCA touching money. A president is voted as an MP, an MCA, as a governor, and under who? There's nowhere the president touches money. Money is in the ministry, in the exchequer. So the president also, who sits in State House, they give State House budget. So that's chakula yake, nguo yake, gari yake, nini, fuel. I mean, everything that happens in State House is budgeted. The secretaries and whatever, you know what I mean, is budgeted by the national government. There's nowhere the president touches money. So here, I would refuse when he says, ati nilienda nikalilia MP wangu, akanitengenezea barabara. What is he trying to tell me? Or trying to tell the other Kenyans? MP akona pesa, atampatia pesa. That is wrong. CDF should be there. But it should be in a committee that is away from the control of the MP. So is Ward Development Fund. It should be there so that money trickles down. That is what we were talking about. Up, down, not bottom up. So let me finish. Me, I don't talk when you talk. It's up, down, not bottom up. Bottom up ni pesa kutoka chini kwenda juu, watu wa chini wabaki njaa mpaka wa leo ndio inaendelea. So up, down, money to go to wards. And we have a committee that controls.
Without the involvement of the MCA.
Exactly. MCA anapeana pendekezo. Guys, this is what I'm thinking in the ward. Then MCAs gives the pendekezo to the committee. The committee will decide how the money will. MCA, what he can have a person to represent his interests. And that is why the president has, in parliament, he has majority leader, because he's directly from the presidential party, to represent the interest of the party one and the interest of the nation as per the UDA constitution in parliament. He understands this well. So there then, if that is done, then we go to prime minister. We should not have this mongrel called cabinet secretary, prime cabinet secretary. What is the function? How did it come about? We should have a constitution change that brings in a prime minister. If Ruto did this, then the country is pregnant and ready to deliver a prime minister. We should have a prime minister that will take care of the positions we have, other than having this prime that doesn't have a function. So why are we paying such people? I mean, it's not politics, it's the honesty. Then, Fred, there is also 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. But I will also add 1 acre, 1 kilometer, if that is important. So that we take care of the most populous and most underprivileged of Turkana and Wajir and all the other places. Then the functions of the deputy should be written down. Both the deputies in the national, the deputy president, and the deputies in the counties. These people don't have a function. Then the oversight role of the senator should go on, and they stop asking for money. What money for? This money is being given, there's this for women representative, I don't know what. And then you scrap off the women representative position. Why do we have it? Then how about the man representative? If we have a woman representative, I should also have a man representative. Who told you that a man must win against a woman? And who to say the woman must lose when he runs against a man? After all, we are told women are more than men. Then why do we give women representation? And I can't go to a women rep office because what will I be going to do there? I'm sorry to use that. I'm not fighting women. I'm just being honest. Is what is the function of a woman representative?
Isn't that the question that probably even the voter himself does not understand the roles at all these leadership positions created by the Constitution?
One second. Do you know I don't vote that position? I've never voted that position because I don't know it.
Okay. Fred,
yes.
Ignorance has got no defense.
Okay.
And Bwana Eric here doesn't understand the roles of those leaders. Number one, I said clearly, I cried to my MP. He did not give me money, but he helped, he intervened. Whatever way that he used or means, he ensured that our roads were done. MCA does not touch money, neither MP, so it is good for my friend here to understand those roles. Then when he talks of one man, one vote and all that, it is erroneous. Sometimes he's been hypocrite. He's talking of the prime cabinet. His boss used to be the prime minister. And it was not anchored in the constitution. He used to earn money illegally. So, but now because Musalia is the prime cabinet secretary, they have started now looking for excuse and all that. And he's admitting his ignorance. He is saying the role of the deputies are not defined. But I want to refer you, in fact, I'm going to send you 4 documents. I'm going to send you the Constitution of Kenya, and I'm going to send you the 3 other documents so that you can see the role of, I'm going to send you the County Act revised 2022 so that you can see the defined roles of the deputy governor. You'll be able to see the defined role of the deputy president, unless he's living in another country. But the roles are well defined. So my friend Eric, it is good you familiarize yourself with the Kenyan's law.
The question is, because it is an opportunity for us to relook at the Constitution. Yeah. And if, to be honest, most of the Kenyans don't even know whether or not it is actually necessary to relook at the Constitution. But the issue of leadership is key. That we've created so many leadership positions that even on this table we are not agreeing if they're all necessary.
You see, like the issue of women rep, it is erroneous to state that we do not require that position. For sure, they have been underrepresented. And even when you see the composition of the assembly, for example, Kiambu, where I have enough knowledge and information, the men elected were out of 60. We have got only 6 ladies who are elected. So the rest are men, 54 are men. So it would be so unfair for us to dismiss the issue of women. Because like he's arguing, even the Bible records they are weaklings, so they should be supported.
Okay.
And why we introduced the women rep position, so that now we fill that gap, the 2/3. In fact, the government is trying very hard to work on the 2/3 rule. And that is why we have now the 47 of them. We are very sure this one, they shall be in the national government. Okay. To do what? To represent the interest of women, people with disability, the less fortunate, and the youth. Okay. And it is happening.
Gentlemen, we've come to the end. Allow me to guide you. Allow me to guide you.
Yes,
I'll give you each a minute and a half for your final comments. Let's start with you, Eric.
Thank you, Fred. My still question is, who represent the men? If women are represented, who will represent the boy child? If the function is to represent the youth, which youth are you representing? There should be gender balance. If you do this to the man, so do this to the boy. to the girl. If you did this to the girl, do this to the boy. And if at all 6 were voted in Kiambu, was it a question of a wrong voter doing the wrong choice, of not balancing both? You know, if ladies don't come out to ask for votes, then do we have to look for seats for them? Right now, we are balancing university uptake. That's how it should be balanced, but not the other way. The other thing is, we need a constitutional review. We like it or not. We need to bring 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, 1 kilometer. We need these things done. And they are done earlier, the better. We need the review of IEBC. I may be one person who will say this. If elections are done, it is the end. There should be no national tallying center. To tally what? The person down there did a mistake, so that you are correcting the mistake in the national. If it is done in the constituency level, it is the end. Let's not tally. What are we tallying at the national again? Those tallying is what brings friction. So what ends in Ruiru, ends in Ruiru. There is no national tallying center in Bomas. And all those that comes around, we get the president. So we start again doing mathematics, and sending the whole those are the problems. We end the problem, we don't need a tally. And that should be anchored in a constitution. That's why I support a constitutional review. And then immediately after the presidential election has been announced and done, we should have everything in the portal. That you in Dimuli, TV47 will be able to show Kenyans what is done in 24 hours. So with that, we don't have this delay. We are waiting for 1 week. 1 week of only 20 million voters, 1 week. And America do 100 and 200 million voters within 3 days. That is the issue.
Thank you so much, Eric. Final words.
Just like I earlier indicated, the government is intact. And I can tell my friend here, sometimes it's good to be honest. You see, Bonafred, what have been contentious in Kenya is the presidential results. We vote for 6 people, MCA all the way to president. So there is no dispute in MCA, governor, all that way. But when it comes to the presidency, that is where we have an issue. Because there is a certain individual who believes at all cost, I must be there. And I want to give an example. You subject a kid, you subject student to an exam. Sasa mwanafunzi hakusoma, hakuenda tuition, alikuwa tu anacheza wakati wa mitihani. Mtihani ikikuja anakuja mwisho anaanza kucomplain. Anasema lazima awekwe number 1. So hiyo maneno sasa, so that we can solve our crisis that we have in Kenya, lazima watu wakuwe honest. Ukubali matokeo, umeshindwa, and then you give people time to serve the community and to serve the people. Because like what is happening, people have got interest, and just like I indicated, we have got some people who want to sabotage the government. So that we don't deliver ili waone kitu ya kutupiga now 2027. My friend here admitted he was voted with 30,000 votes. Na Ruiru iko na 700,000. Sinaona hako ka percentage. Kwa hivyo you should appreciate
the registered number of voters is 120
you should appreciate elected leaders. Na at least tunampatia nafasi ya kufanyia watu kazi.
Asante sana, Honorable Patrick Ngaroya, MCA Ngecha Tigoni Ward in Kiambu County, and political analyst Eric Ragalo, our panelist this morning. And so now you'll allow me to read this editorial commentary as we come to the end of this session. Now, today a significant portion of the Kenyan population, comfortably positioned within the so-called middle class, remains strangely indifferent to the crucial matters that shape our nation's destiny. As the nation's heartbeat quickens with conversations about constitutional change, this curious apathy casts a dark shadow over our collective aspirations. But what value do you bring to society when you disengage from the vital discussions that will chart our nation's course? Is the illusion of immunity emanating from your perceived affluence reason enough to distance yourself from the concerns of ordinary Kenyans? The middle class should not be a bystander. Rather, it should stand as a pillar of civic responsibility, demonstrating that maturity extends beyond material wealth. To equate complacency with being woke is not just a misnomer. It is a grave misunderstanding of what true civic consciousness entails. True civic consciousness is an unwavering commitment to contributing to the well-being of society. It is a recognition that the privilege of education, resources, and relative stability comes with a duty to uplift the entire nation. As conversations echo through the corridors of power regarding potential constitutional shifts, the complacency of this crucial group could spell our undoing. Constitutional change is not a decision that should be made in isolation. It demands the diverse voices of the nation, each playing their part in shaping the course of history. To remain indifferent is to forsake the power you hold as a citizen, allowing others to define your future for you. The future of Kenya is not a spectator sport. It is an arena where every responsible Kenyan